Hey, welcome back to Driven Channel, and I have a very special guest here, one of my best friends in the world. Uh, can't tell you enough how much you helped me, and you are one of those people that I've seen grow so much. We've done like 10 podcasts, so many Driven events. You brought me a cigar, and you're the founder CEO of Lightspeed. You have Real. I might miss a few, but Real Solar, Real Financial. Real Merchant Services.
That's right.
Real. Am I missing one?
Money lending.
Real Money Lending.
That's right.
What else?
Just Triple L.
Is that Real Triple L?
Nope, it's just Triple L consulting company.
So I want to start off
But
right there.
mainly Lightspeed, bro.
I want to start right there. Like you have Lightspeed. How do you have like 10 businesses? When I met you, you had one business, from what I remember. But now you have like 10 businesses, and they're all real this, real that, and they're all making money. You showed me right now one of those businesses has been making you some good change, right?
Yeah, well, businesses are supposed to make money, yes. They are all making money.
But how do you open all those businesses that quick?
Well, I mean,
Is it your personal brand? Is it personal brand?
the personal brand definitely drives traffic, but opening a business is easy. You just go down, file register an LLC or whatever formation you want to put, and you're in business. The question is how do you make the business make money? And that's sales.
When did you start selling, and how did you become so great in sales?
I started selling since I was a youngster. My style as a juvenile, ran with a gang, slanged in the meanwhile. Banking, I specialized in ganking, white, Mexicans, brothers, and others. Vaguely, it was all about coming up, making sure no punks were running up. Getting ganked by the Lee was a lesson. So, is there any more questions?
So if you're a good salesperson, what comes first, selling or marketing?
Well, what do you mean when you say what comes first? What's more important is marketing. I used to believe sales was more important, but marketing is...
What if you're good in sales, but you're bad at marketing?
Well, who are you going to talk to?
Only people that you meet in front.
Bro, marketing is superior because it drives the traffic for the salespeople to talk to. So, although I used to believe sales was the key, it's actually marketing is the key, because if you can do effective marketing, you can drive traffic. And when you can drive traffic, you can open businesses and have them make you money. Even traffic to other companies. Like I could start driving you traffic. You'd pay me for traffic if it converted, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody's skill set includes marketing. They're going to be far more successful than if it doesn't. So marketing is senior to sales, but sales is very important. And, I started selling when I was a youngster. I'd say 6 years old, first grade, selling candy bars. I've sold a number of things throughout my life, but I think at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, you're going to sell something. I don't know anyone that's successful that doesn't sell something.
What if you're bad at sales, but you're a genius marketer?
Get good.
You could get anybody good? Sales?
Anybody can get good at sales.
Or-
Sales is just like fighting, bro.
You think you're the best in sales?
I'm one of them, sure.
Would you say you're like top 3 or top 5?
Mm-hmm.
Who would be just as good as you?
I don't know, because I don't study people.
So how did you learn in sales, and do you teach people how to sell?
I learned it just by doing it, reading books, going to seminars, workshops, mentors and managers that brought me up in the business, life experiences. But dude, you go out and you research, like, ask a doctor how they learned to be a doctor. Well, they went to school, they learned, they paid attention, they got tested. So my whole life have been in sales. And so over time you get better and better and better at it.
Why do you think most people have problems with sales though? Because, like, for example, there's people that are good, like let's say the 1%ers. They'll sell, make a lot of money, but then you hire more people and they're not as good? Why do people have a difficulty with sales? I'll give you another example. Like, for example, I get on the call, I'll close the deal, and I'll collect 7,500. I give the same phone to another person, and they can't close that. Like, why is there a difference?
A lot of times it's confidence, certainty. Sales is really the transfer of enthusiasm. That person doesn't sound like they were as certain as you were. But, I'd have to listen to what they're saying, what they're doing. A lot of times people, they don't realize there's steps to a sale. They're not following the steps. They don't have. It's almost like a fight, right? Like there's some badass dudes out there that can kick some ass. But they go into a cage with a trained fighter, they're going to get their asses kicked, handed to them. I don't care how tough they are. If they're not a trained professional fighter, a trained professional fighter will kick their ass. I don't care if they were tough in high school. See what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You have to go learn, practice, drill, rehearse. There's moves, there's steps, there's techniques, asking questions, leading the witness, if you will, right? Empathy. There's a lot of things that people have to learn and develop in order to become better at sales. And what's funny is you said most people have a problem with sales and most people are broke.
Which book was there a book or a mentor that you studied a lot that got you good in sales?
I think the best book for sales is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
Yeah, well,
It's my favorite book.
It teaches you about how to build relationships, and sales is really about relationships. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. Most people, they get into sales, they get a little bit of rejection, and then they give up. Why? Because their lack of confidence causes their mindset to shift. And when your mindset shifts, your vibration changes. And your vibration attracts like vibration. So when you wake up and you're nervous and you're scared, you're not going to make money, you're sitting there focused on, what if I don't sell anything? Next thing you know, you're not selling anything.
What about the different styles of selling? Like, for example, I'll give you three names. You have Wes Watson, Andy Elliott, and Grant Cardone, and yourself. So I think they're all different styles. And like where one person will tell people, be very aggressive and almost like insult the person and gets the sale. And maybe for example, your style, I think it's more persuasive. Like you know how to persuade.
Well, I would be considered out of those three more smooth.
Yeah. So
I'm smooth, brother.
So there's different styles that work.
Of course.
Because like if somebody learns from you and then they learn from the other three guys who are all great, by the way, do you think you'll get confused or do you think you get a combination of everybody? Because I think I have a combination of everybody.
Well, I mean, that's the way you should be, is you learn from everyone and then develop your own style because ultimately you want to be authentic. And authenticity transfers, and people crave authenticity. So when they feel like you're being inauthentic, it's their trust factor goes down, and the trust is really what you're trying to create. Because at the end of the day, it's important for people to like you, but it's far more important for people to trust you. Like if you liked me, but you didn't trust me, you're not going to necessarily buy from me. But if you trust me, but you don't necessarily like me, you might buy from me. Just like coming to your house. If you didn't know for a fact I wouldn't harm your family, even if you liked me to death, you're not going to invite me over. But if you trusted that I'm not going to do anything or steal anything, you'd invite me over. So again, they're both equally important, but I think trust has the edge.
You tend to trust people very quickly, huh?
Yeah, I trust people very quickly.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think it's an abundant thing. Like,
Because
I have a saying. You know what my saying is?
What?
Don't change the way you treat people. Change the people you treat. What that means is like a lot of people get screwed, so they start to be more callous and more, they don't trust as easily, and it costs them. I continue and openly trust. Why? Because I know that there's good people in the world. And guess what? If I get screwed, so what? It identifies who I don't trust, and then I move them to the side, and everybody else I trust. So trusting quickly and trusting easily is a trait that I have, I believe, because of the abundance mindset that I have.
But like, what would have happened? Like, let's say you trusted me. Like when I went to your house, you barely met me, and you said, "Hey, just stayed over at the house." What if I would have been like a serial killer or something like that, and then you don't get a second chance to treat
Well,
somebody
what
else?
you don't know is, there was 3 weapons trained on you the whole time you were in my house. If you'd have tried anything, you'd have been filled with holes.
What are those?
You'd have been Mexican Swiss cheese.
What are those weapons?
All kinds of weapons. I got fucking blow darts in my walls.
But what if I catch you like when you're unexpected?
Dude, you got some hypothetical nonsense. I don't know why you bring this shit up.
No, because
Well,
you
what if the fucking ceiling caved in? Dude, I knew you weren't going to kill anybody, first of all. Second of all, if I didn't trust you, you wouldn't have been at my house. And that's my point. You want to build trust. If you're looking to sell things, you want to transfer certainty, you want to transfer enthusiasm, and you want to build relationships. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book that taught me a lot about how to build relationships with people, and relationships are really where money comes from. If you think
Yeah.
about every dollar you've ever received, it came from a relationship of some kind. So if that's true, is that true?
Yeah.
So if that's true, then and you want more money, is that true?
Yeah.
If money comes from relationships and you want more money, what would that lead you to believe? You just need more relationships. So How to Win Friends and Influence People helps you build those relationships. Relationships are the key. Even when you're on your dying bed and somebody asks you what's important, it's not going to be your money, it's not going to be your cars, it's not going to be anything. It's going to be your relationships. And so that tells you that the most important thing, other than your health, in life to focus on are your relationships, because relationships are where money comes from. And if you want more money, then you need more relationships. And the more relationships you have, the more resources you have, and the more resourceful you are. It's just common sense.
How do you get relationships though? Because it's not easy to like just be like, hey, Brett Lee, can you be my friend? Grant Cardone, can you be my friend? Hey, Wes, can we hang out?
Well, you already know the answer. You provide value, or as you like to say, value.
Or money?
Value and money is pretty much,
The same thing?
yeah.
So you're saying buy relationships?
You can definitely buy your way into a vicinity, meaning you can't buy relationships per se, but you can buy, for example, a ticket to a mastermind VIP to where now you're in the room. Well, you're in the room. Now you can build a relationship. And by the way, a lot of those times is not the times to build relationships. That's the time to start, introduce yourself. A lot of times people think that they're going to get in those VIP rooms, and then the next thing you know, they're best friends with everybody in there. Well, that's not necessarily true, but it's a good way to start the relationship. It's get into their areas. And usually you do that by buying
how do
their
you
product.
think? How do you think I could have done it better to build relationships?
Well, you did everything I told you to do. You're doing just fine. Start an event of your own. Now, all of a sudden, a lot of your relationships come from the events that you put on, because you have the speakers come in. Then you start talking to them. Next thing you know, you're buddies with them. A lot of people don't have the balls to start their own.
What if somebody pays you though, and you can't stand the person, you don't really like the person? Is that gonna go anywhere or no?
Of course not.
Like if somebody pays you 50 G's or more, but you don't like the person. Why wouldn't it go anywhere if they paid you?
Well, what do you mean, dude? Like I said, you can't buy the relationship. You can only buy the vicinity.
But if somebody pays you, why wouldn't they get you to like them? Are they just bad with communication?
Could be that they're bad with communication. Could be that they're rude. Could be that they're limited and scarcity based. Could be that they're negative.
Has it ever happened to you?
I don't hang around negative people.
Has that ever happened to you that somebody pays you and they want to be around you, but you're just like, I don't like this person?
Not that I can remember. I'm likable and I like people, so it's pretty easy for me to like somebody, as long as you're not a douche.
Do
Some
some people?
I read some of the comments on your posts. People say that you're like a douche, but they don't know you. They're just seeing you with your shirt off and shit. It's hilarious. But like if they got to know you, they'd go, "Oh, Albert's cool."
So why do you think people think bad about people based on social media posts?
Well, that's called haterism. Okay, they hate, and the reason they hate is because they see something in you that they lack, or they see that you're, unafraid of everybody's opinion, and so that's a lack that they have for themselves. They see a confidence in you. They see something in you that they don't have for themselves, so they hate on it.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people are hating on you, they're just projecting their shortcomings on you.
Going back to selling though, when if you're gonna sell a high ticket, like if you're gonna sell like a high ticket that's like, let's just say 50 G's or 20, even 25 G's, for you it's very easy because you have the credibility. You get on the phone and they're like, oh my God, it's Brad Lee. Where do I swipe?
Well,
But if it's somebody, if you didn't have the credibility, the millions of followers on all the platforms, wouldn't it be tougher to sell?
well, I don't know. It depends on who, what, and when you're talking about, but I
'Cause, like,
think
for example,
you don't need a following to sell.
But if you go live, you have a lot of people that are on your live, and you have more
That
chances of making a sell.
That just gives me more opportunity.
Yeah. So if somebody goes live and they have like 2-3 people on it, then it's gonna limit them.
Dude, I've seen people go live with 10 people and they seem to make sales. I mean, it's not a matter of how many. That just increases your opportunities. If you continue to go live every single day, you're going to eventually develop an audience that resonates with what you're saying. So many people are worried about the people that aren't following. Guys, the ones that aren't following also aren't buying. Quit worrying about the people that aren't following you. Start worrying about delivering value.
Or the people that jump on the live and then they call you a scammer.
Again,
They're not buying anyways. And then you look at their page and they have like no followers. They have they look like
Dude,
they're ugly. They look like losers.
a lot of times they are. And that's why they're doing it, because they're mad at themselves.
You think looks help with sales?
Of course they do.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, dude, listen, what are you talking about?
Like if
Looks
you
help with sales. Like
if
the better looking you are, the more opportunities you get. The better looking you are, the more opportunities you get.
you consider yourself good looking?
I consider myself fair.
Fair. If you were like ugly, Brad, would you do as good as you do today?
I don't know what ugly Brad means. If I
Like
didn't
if you look like George Lopez, but in a white version.
well, George Lopez did pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was funny though. You're funny
so
too.
there you go.
So
Bottom line though is, yeah, I do think the better looking you are, the more opportunity you get. But at the same point, dude, you can be really good looking and still be an asshole, and not do well just because you look good. Looking good gives you the opportunity.
Yeah.
Like if I see somebody out in front at my reception desk wanting to meet with me, and they're clean, good looking people, I'm wondering who they are. They look professional. Yeah, what are they? Maybe I'll talk to them. But if I see some slob that looks like freaking, disheveled and not put together, I might say, who is that? Well, they want to talk to you. Yeah, well, tell them come back at another time.
Going back to lives, like you tend to give a lot of valuable advice, but just me being straight up with you as a friend.
Yeah, let's do that.
You don't. Well, I'm always straight up with you, but
All right, good.
But I don't want you to like take it the wrong way.
Oh, no, not me.
Like you've told me like I could think of 4 things you've told me to do,
Yeah.
and then they worked out. I took long doing it, but
I can tell you 5 things you didn't do,
but-
and they would have worked out.
but they worked out, but you don't do them. Like for example, like you told me to start going live, and I said, oh, it worked really good, and then you said, oh, do more lives. So I did more lives, but I know that if you would do lives, you would probably
Change
murder
lives.
it. You would murder it.
If I did lives, I would change lives.
Like this morning on the lives. Like how much money did I make?
I think upwards of 20
20K.
G's.
Like if you go live with your following, you probably do 80K in the morning. Because you'll get a lot more people. Like,
Well,
why don't you do that?
Well, because I have nothing to sell them.
You have your the beautiful workshop studios.
But I mean, I do those once in a while, dude. I wouldn't do live every day. I'm not trying to sell something every day. But I would go live if I were trying to sell something.
You wouldn't go live every day, like if you. How many?
And the
hours?
reason I tell you to do it is because I'm trying to help you do what you do, not necessarily what I do. See what I'm saying? Like, you have products, you got your mentoring, you got your coaching, you got your masterminds, you got your driven enterprises and all the stuff that you can sell people. Going live makes sense for you. I'm not selling a bunch of things.
You also told me to start an event,
Yes.
and that worked pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of events,
And as you know, I also told Grant Cardone to start 10X, and it worked out for him too.
that's why I started mine, because I couldn't be on 10.
Yeah, you know, there's a story that I hear you say sometimes on social media as to why and how you started 10X. I mean, Driven, and it's like you've never told the truth.
What do you mean? Oh,
The truth is you were trying to get me to get you on Grant's stage, and I told you point blank, Grant's never going to put you on a stage, bro. Just start your own and put Grant on your stage, and that's what you did, and that's why you started it.
why did he know that he wasn't going to put me on his stage?
Because you know, well, especially at the time you were asking, you know, you weren't doing anything. You didn't have any followers. You didn't have anything. You know, you had a little success for yourself, but again, Grant wanted people that could draw him people, and you definitely could not draw him people at that time.
He told me he told me that I made more money than most of the speakers
Doing what?
with my business, because there were a lot of speakers there that they weren't making money. They didn't have a business. They were more like YouTubers or podcasters, but they had a following though. So
Yeah,
the
well,
following.
that's what Grant was looking for. He was looking to draft off of other people's followers. So he would have you on a stage if he either knew you and liked you, which was my case. Because again, I didn't really, like when I first went out on the 10X stages, the only reason I was on that stage is because, you know, I had light speed and, you know, Grant was helping me out.
Did you ask him to be on the stage? So talk about that. Like, what's more important, relationships or money?
Relationships.
Is there something you would have done differently, like with that relationship with Grant?
Yeah, I mean, again, dude, there's videos of me already discussing it, but at the end of the day, you know, he wanted to renegotiate a deal, and I didn't really want to. And looking back, I should have, you know, not focused on the money, and I should have focused on the relationship, and I'd be a lot farther ahead. You know, I probably would have been a little closer with him all these years, would have had a lot more opportunities than I've gotten on my own. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I focused on the money instead of the relationship. I should have just focused on the relationship.
But why do you think you made that decision?
Well, because we all get cloudy, you know, judgment at times. Me, I'm like, wait a minute, this wasn't the deal. And not only that, like, you know, the money was getting good, and when it was really starting to get good, he wanted to change the deal. It's like, wait a minute, you can't change the deal now. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, if I were him, I wouldn't have done the same thing. But if I were him, I can understand why he wanted to do what he did. The difference that I would do now, though, is I would have just said, okay, no problem. I'd have said, no problem, bro, I got you.
But what if everybody?
Because then we'd still be buddies. You know, I'd rather have a friend and make a little bit less money than make more money and have no friends. Because I understand relationships are more valuable than money. Money comes from relationships.
Yeah.
So if you value money over relationships, soon you're going to have neither.
Yeah, but if you turn it around, he could have also done the same thing, because when you met him, I guess I don't know if this exact correctly, but I think he was making $2 million and a half a year, and then traveling a lot, not really having a quality life with family and all that. And
Well,
then
he was making a couple of million from his sales training.
Yeah.
He was making more than that in real estate.
Yeah.
But
you helped them make like 100 times more, right?
Yes.
So then shouldn't he value the relationship because you helped him grow?
I would think so, yes.
Because then now what about so now you're saying that everybody that you help 100x their income, now it's cool for them to be like, hey, you know what? We got to renegotiate because you helped me make 100 times more. So now I got to pay you less.
Well, some people are like that. Some people aren't.
But I think if you help somebody make 100x more, they should value the relationship and be like, hey, I want to send you more money.
Well, you would think. But like I said, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah. But I mean,
but Grant did just fine without me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm doing just fine without him. I just would have been in a better position, I think. You never know. I could have went south too, but I think I just would have been in a better position had I focused on the relationship and not worried so much about the money. And looking back, if I could change what happened and what transpired, I would have just said no problem, allowed him to renegotiate, and just carried on. And I probably would have made 10 times more money through the relationship than I did by getting all butthurt and focusing on the money. So, I mean, again, it's just words for people that are watching. You guys, if you're smart, focus on the relationship, not the money. Now, that doesn't mean, get screwed. It doesn't mean allow people to walk all over you. It means just remember that the relationship is more important than the money, because if the relationship ends, 9 times out of 10, so does the money. If the money slows down and the relationship remains, there's a chance that money can start to flow again, and it probably will with more opportunity.
Now you decided to go heavier on building your personal brand a few years ago, right? Because back then you weren't really pushing your personal brand, and now
at all.
Now you've been pushing it a lot more. Well, when did that happen, and why did you decide? When did you think it was a good move to do that?
I think it's been about 5 years now. So about 5 years ago, I watched what Grant did with his and realized how valuable it was. I watched several people kind of leverage their personal brands and their notoriety on social media to funnel and drive business to their businesses. So at one point, I said, man, I need to start building my own. And again, Grant helped a lot. When I was on the first 10X stages, the first 3 technically, that got me a lot of attention that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So that kind of got me started, and then people just started following me on their own. And so I just started saying, hey, I need to focus on building my brand,
What's more important, personal brand or the brand or business brand?
Well, it depends. I mean, again, you get a brand like Nike, not many people, like Phil Knight, I wouldn't say has a personal brand.
But do you follow Nike, or you wear Nike?
Well, I don't wear or follow Nike. Actually, I do. If I work out, I use Nike. But
like, do people follow Lightspeed, or they follow Bradley?
Well, that's why it's personal, because people follow personalities. So companies are now starting to emerge a personality with the brand. So they're co-branding. Yeah. Like, my personal brand is what drives a lot of business to my other companies. There's people that don't realize I own or started Lightspeed. There's people that don't realize that I started the whole online learning space. When people find out that I was the first one to have online training and online courses and the whole 9 yards. I mean, I did it in '99, bro, when the internet was just coming out. I was doing online training. I'm the one that convinced all the other online trainers, the big names, to do it, and they used my software to do so. And watching that over the years, now people are like, dude, you started the whole thing. And I'm like, well, I mean, technically, yeah. People don't know that. They don't even know that I own Lightspeed. Why? Because my personal brand is what they see and what they hear. And a lot of times they're like, what do you do?
Yeah.
People DM me all the time, bro, I've been following you for 4 years. What is it you do? Which shows me that I'm doing a bad job of driving that traffic to my businesses. So I think the perfect way to do it is to build the personal brand and then drive to your businesses.
If you could have done, or is there 1 or 2 things you would have done differently with Lightspeed? If you could go back in time, you feel like you could have maybe exited on Lightspeed already?
For sure.
Didn't you like?
I should have raised money. I built it from scratch, from the ground
You could have
up,
probably raised like 100 million.
easily. Matter of fact, there's a lot of groups right now talking to me about that even today. Again, dude, even 24 years later, there's no platform, there's no technology like Lightspeed on Earth right now.
What?
I started it, and I'm still so far ahead of people they don't even understand, and they're valued at $2 billion. People say, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is they raised capital and they went after these.
You're talking about that company out there.
Well, there's multiple ones. There's not just one.
There's like new ones coming out too. Like now everybody's starting their own.
Yeah, but none of them are even a gnat's ass to Lightspeed.
What's different? What's the main difference?
Well, ours allows you to create interactive content and create custom experiences based on the password, and theirs is one big library of videos. Theirs is a hosting solution, mine is a training system. If you're a company that looks to grow and train your people, you can't do that with a library of videos. A library of videos is not training. Otherwise, I'd be a black belt because I watch mixed martial arts every single day. So I'd be a black belt by now if watching videos is all
do
you
you have
needed.
do you have right now like a big plan that you're gonna do to take over, or is there any way that you can like put them out of business? And
I don't know about putting people out of business. I don't really look at it like that. You know, I'm abundant. In other words, I want to contribute more to the world, and focus on bringing more to the world, not taking somebody else's. So again, like,
but what if they start taking your clients?
well then, brother, there's a lot of clients in the world. What about when someone takes yours? Next. And not only that, dude, I really believe that, you know, there's enough for everybody to go around. There's no limits. You know, if someone takes my customer, that's my fault. That's, you know, I should have done better. But at the end of the day, man, all I can do is just move forward.
So the biggest thing you would have done differently was raise capital.
Yeah, raise money, which is what I'm planning to do.
You would have
right
been
now.
you would have been a multi-billion-dollar company right now.
Theoretically, I could have been, yes. But again, I mean, to me, I'm not doing bad. I just, you know, didn't know enough. But now, with the relationships that I've nurtured, you know, I'm probably going to raise 50 to 100 million in the next 6 months. Throw it all into Lightspeed marketing, and Lightspeed will blow up and be $1 billion company anyway. And again, it's not me trying to put someone else out of business. It's just me trying to provide value to the world.
So the raising capital part is going to be a lot easier for you because of your personal brand, right?
That's for sure.
So you told me to start my personal brand, and you promote that a lot. How important is it for people to start their own personal brand?
Well, I think it's extremely important.
Should everybody start a personal brand?
Everyone.
What if you're just there
is no answer you're going to get. Everyone should start a personal brand,
Even
unless you're in the secret witness program.
even if you're an employee?
Absolutely, especially if you're an employee. You want to be a more valuable individual, build a personal brand. If you're an employee working for someone right now and you start building a personal brand where you get mass attention and mass following, you start to write your own ticket and you become extremely valuable to that employer. You become more valuable to yourself, you become more valuable to your followers. Like, everyone should build a personal brand. That's why every once in a while I throw on my branding event. And that's what you think I should be selling lives every day for. But, you know, dude, listen, I value my time. I don't know how old you are, but I'm older. So
We're around the same age.
No, not even close. But give it another 15 years and see if you still like doing lives every day. Okay?
Well, what then again, because I know one of your goals is to be a billionaire, right?
Yep.
In 15 years from now, I want to be retired already.
Yeah, well, I should have been as well. Okay? Again, you know, if I could go back and do it again, I probably already would have been.
Yeah, because I get what you're saying. That at 15 years, I would want to be like
Chilling,
flying a private
life.
jet, drinking some champagne, white sand beach, and I probably wouldn't want to do all those lives. But for me right now, that makes perfect sense, right? You would still tell me to do more lives?
It doesn't work.
Well, I mean, 20 G's this morning.
Yeah. Well, I'd keep doing more then.
Yeah.
I'd just keep going, keep going, keep going. I mean, eventually, dude, I believe, and you guys can do one of those time things 5 years from now or even 3 years from now. I believe that streaming is going to get a lot more popular. Where, like, if you put cameras in this studio, in this office, and you literally allow followers to just see what's happening live stream,
Yeah.
the real shit,
Yeah.
what's really going on, what's really being said, that's going to get more popular.
Yeah, yeah. So right now I notice that you're flying private a lot, traveling a lot. It seems like you're having vacations like every 2 weeks. Is it because you're making more money than ever, or are you traveling for work? Because I do see your family with you all the time for the most part.
Well, I include family with everything I do. But no, these are what you've been seeing lately is just vacations. But a lot of times,
So life is that good right now for you?
well, I mean, bro, I wasn't in the real estate game, okay? The world didn't fall out of my world, okay? Like real estate, mortgages, what you were in, it took a little bit of a dip. So it's like you got to pivot. Well,
trucking are having a bad time too, the truckers.
Well, I'm not a fucking trucker.
No, I know. Solar is having the problem too.
I'm not in solar. So whatever I'm in is still thriving. It's always thrived. I'm in like recession-proof businesses.
You think the economy's better right now?
I don't think so.
How do you feel about Biden and Trump?
I don't feel any particular way about either one of them.
Are you going to vote for?
I don't vote.
No? If you were to vote, would you vote for Biden or Trump?
If those were the two choices?
Yeah.
Trump. 1,000%. Anybody that votes for Joe Biden needs their head examined. The guy can't form a sentence. Okay? He's not fit to be the president of the United States. So if the choice was between Biden and Trump, the answer's Trump. It doesn't matter that he's rude. It doesn't matter that you don't like him. It doesn't matter that this or that. He's a businessman, and this country is a business. And when he was running shit, business was better. Joe Biden is not a businessman. He's a politician. And people need to understand that politicians, okay, that's their career. If you watch politicians, they go into politics and come out multimillionaires. They go in, and by the way, their salaries aren't millions of dollars, so where are they making these millions of dollars? Deals, inside knowledge, knowing what's going on, making rules, making laws, knowing what's coming. Okay, it's called insider trading if you're not a politician,
yeah,
to act on information that
yeah,
that the public wouldn't know. But it is not illegal for politicians to do it, which is again, how is that possible? Well, who do you think make the rules? The politicians. So of course they're not going to make themselves get in trouble for acting on the things that they get to act on. So again, I don't hate on that. It's like, go be a politician then, or better yet, follow politics, follow the politicians, and you can find their stock investments. Just go invest into what they're investing in. Like, I don't get mad at all these politicians, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, that are getting rich in politics. It's not right, but I'm not mad at them, whatever. If I'm so worried about it, I would just watch what they invest in and follow their investments. I'm one of those guys that, like, I say it's abundance. Like, dude, I don't think of lack. If somebody said, "Hey, who do you want to be president?" A lot of people will say Trump. Well, I don't necessarily want Trump as the president. I want a business person as the president.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Trump, as long as they're a business person and they understand business and they're completely cognizant and they're sharp and they're, a good representation. Like, Joe Biden, again, I don't know the guy. He might be a nice guy. If I was in his family, maybe I'd love him. It'd be Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe. But as a leader of the free world, bro.
Shouldn't there be a limit as like how old you could be to run?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with age. It has to do with mental capacity.
Because I mean, Trump is up there in age too, but he's sharp.
He's sharp still. Trump still can think and react and negotiate. He understands business.
So what do you say the biggest difference between you when I met you 10 years ago versus today? Because I mean, for sure, you're making a lot more money because I see you spending a lot more money. Unless maybe you just decided to pull the trigger more on spending the money now, because I see you with like buying expensive watches all the time. You're always buying new watches. You're flying private. You got a Ferrari. You've been,
but that's beside the point.
You've been spending more money. When I met you,
that's not true.
You had the CLS Mercedes, and you had like
I had a CLS Mercedes because they didn't have any S classes, and I needed a car. So I said, "What's the latest thing you have?" And it was the latest one. It wasn't a C class. It was a CLS. There's a difference.
But you had watches that were like a lot less than the watches you buy now. And now you have two Ferraris. So is it because of the personal brand that you're making more money because of the other businesses you open, like the financial business, the solar business, or is it because Lightspeed is making more money than it was 10 years ago?
Well, Lightspeed's definitely making more. All of my businesses continually make more every single year. We trend up. I am making more money than I did 10 years ago. My tastes have changed. I remember when I got my first luxury watch, or at least I thought it was luxury, was a Movado. The Movado?
Yeah, I remember them. I'm not an expert.
Well, it was a Movado, and it was like $1,100, and I thought that was the most expensive watch ever. But then, believe it or not, like I started getting nicer watches from other people. It's like when you gave me your Ferrari for a year. Look, I didn't ever want a Ferrari. When I gave yours back, I'm like, fuck, dude, I want a Ferrari, so I went and bought one. And then again, I bought the 296 because I was in the thing and it was like, oh, these are coming out. You got to order them now. So I ordered it, not really thinking about it. But quite frankly, I don't really care about having two. And I probably won't keep both of them. I'll keep one.
Yeah, but you have how many watches right now?
Maybe 30.
30, and you have two Ferraris.
Yeah.
And when I met you, when I lent you the 458 first, and then I picked it up and I lent you the 488. So you had like half of the year you had the 458, and then the 488 for the other half of the year. When I lent you the 458, you still had your CLS, right?
No, I don't think I had that.
Or that's when you got your truck.
I don't remember what I had.
Oh, the Raptor.
The Raptor, yeah. No, but you had a CLS.
I may have. I don't remember.
Yeah. So what do you say that I helped you think bigger?
No.
Why not? Well, because you said after the Ferrari you bought your own.
Well, because I didn't think I would like it as much as I liked it.
But you did.
I thought they would break down a lot. I was told, they're high maintenance and you have to frickin' put them in the shop all the time. I put 12,000 miles on yours. Didn't break down once.
So in the sense
12,000 miles.
So
he gave it to me with like 2,000 miles. I gave it back to him with like 15,000 miles.
Yeah, but then that
What'd you do when you saw that?
I didn't care. Remember, I used to say that I used my Ferrari like a prostitute.
Yeah.
So, in what it did for me was, it grew our relationship, because I think
you think it did, but it didn't. I know that you like to joke about that. Like every time I woke up, I was thinking of you.
You were thinking about me every day because you were driving the car every day.
I know, but I didn't think about you because I had the car. I was thinking about the fucking car.
Yeah,
so I'd get up and be like, damn, dude, I got a badass car to drive. So I'd jump in the Ferrari and drive to work. I never once thought all the way there going, damn, this is Albert's. Man, Albert's the greatest. I didn't do any of that.
But people will ask you, oh, nice car, nice Ferrari. Hey, when'd you get it? And then you would say, or you wouldn't say.
No, I would say.
So you were thinking about me every day, which increased because what you think about every day grows. It's kind of like when you're, like if you call a girl or a guy and you're calling every week, versus if you're with the person, if you're with the girl every day, then the girl's thinking about you. Like every day, so then the relationship grows. Versus if you just
That's not
call
always
every
true.
2 weeks. Because like right now, me and you, we don't speak that much like we used to, right? Like you'll call me, and I know you're busy. I'm busy, so every 2 weeks or once a month, we'll like get on a call or a FaceTime. But when you were, those are the times that you probably are thinking, oh, like Albert or Brad, whatever. But
And
when you had the, when you had the car, when you
some
had
days I'll wake up and just wonder what you're doing.
some days, but not every day. But when
Some
you had
days
the
I'll
fir-
just wake up and I wonder what my buddy Albert's doing. And then
Like today.
and then when I watch your videos, I think, oh, it's chess day again. It's chess day every day for
Speaking
you.
of that, how important? Because we talked about looks. How important is it to be in shape? Like, is it
Well,
important to be shredded?
what's in shape? Because again, guys, listen to me. Pay attention. All these people
Six-pack
telling
shredded.
you have to have a six pack or you cannot succeed is bullshit. I know a lot of fat fucking multimillionaires. Okay, but to me, the word success is a individual thing. I think you should be healthy. There's a difference between healthy. I'm healthy. Do I have a six pack? No. Could I get a six pack? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, is it going to make me any more successful? I don't think so. If I thought so, I'd have it. I just don't think so. What I think it's going to do is make me look a little bit better. It's going to make me a little bit more, I don't want to say desirable, but it's going to make
Desirable.
it's
Yeah.
going to make people want to be like me more. So if I was in the influencer game, which I'm not, people call me an influencer.
Well, you
but
are an
I'm-
influencer because
I am influential maybe, but I am not an influencer. I do not get paid for influencing people.
in the way. You
I mean,
make more
actually, I
money.
take that back because we all get paid for influencing people. That's sales. But my point is, in other words, there's influencers like Mr. Beast. There's content creators that go out and they get paid. They make their living by making content. That is not what I do. I have brick and mortar businesses. I have employees. I have W-2s. I have taxes. I have freaking HR nightmares. I'm a businessman. I just happen to have a personal brand because I've been dropping knowledge for 5 straight years that people resonate with.
You're an influencer with real businesses.
I think I'm an influential business person.
How do you know when somebody's an influencer business person? Like, how do you know if somebody's real? Because there's
Well,
a
like
lot of
Mark
people.
Cuban, is he an influencer?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Elon Musk is.
He's not an influencer. And,
He
and
bought Twitter.
don't confuse influential with influencer.
Okay, so influential. So am
Well,
I?
yeah, everybody's influential.
Am I an influencer or influential?
You're starting to become more of an influencer. Like you're starting to make money with your brand more.
Because I made money with my business first.
Right, so that's what got you some credibility. Then
Well, you inspired me to get a bigger office and all that stuff.
Well, again, that may have been a mistake. Like, who knows? How much this thing cost you a month?
100 G's.
Now, again, the good news is you can repurpose it. So if I walk in and, when I
But
walked in,
we have the studio here.
I know, but when I walked in, I said, Sil, where is everybody? She says, dude, the real estate game's changed a little bit. Some people left, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, well, the good news is you still have the space. You could turn this into, like, your masterminds. You could turn this into all kinds of things. But I always think in abundance. So I'm not worried about, oh, my God, what if we can't pay the mortgage or the rent? I don't think like that. I think, it's about life experience, bro.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're going to have this experience your whole life. Even if you crashed and burnt and lost everything, everybody will remember this place. Everybody will remember you had the Ferraris, you had the Rolls Royces. And if you lose them all, everyone will come out of the woodwork and be like, oh, I told you were a fake. Dude, how long have you had this shit? Since I've known you? How long has it been? 10 years?
10 years.
How's that fake? And besides that, dude,
Well-
that's 10 solid ass years. It's 10 more years than they got. So at the end of the day,
But
quit.
you have the experience though, and now you
It's
have the
it's life experience, bro. Like, sometimes I'll think, should I go on another vacation? Well, dude, my kids are young. Their memories are worth more than you can imagine.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm not really wanting to go on a vacation, I go because that's their life.
Right.
Their memories are being created, and I'm the steward of their memories.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to have them sitting in a house in Vegas rather than on a beach in Cabo. Or, you know, again, there's times we fly private, there's times we fly commercial. What's the difference? It just depends on convenience. Like the other day, I was going to take a jet to Cabo, but they wanted $42,000. I'm like, 42,000. I said, babe, how much are our tickets?
Round trip or one way?
That was one way.
One way.
One way, because you have to get the jet down there, and then I was going to be there for 8 days, so it wouldn't wait there. It would have to fly back. So you have to go $42,000 to go down and back. Now, if it was going to wait there for me, but it couldn't. You can't do that. So it was $42,000. So I called my wife. I said, what are we paying to get to Mexico? She said like $2,000. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, well, dude, $40,000 I could use to pay for the damn vacation. So fly private and then spend another 40. Now again, if I'm making stupid money, like Grant per se or Elon Musk, you know, it wouldn't matter because $40,000 to them is probably the equivalent of $40 to me. Like $40, I could care less.
That's a big difference though in money. Grant and Elon Musk.
Well, it's not as big a difference as you think.
Because Elon Musk,
it doesn't matter. Once you hit $1 billion, bro.
Because you're talking about $1 billion versus what?
A couple $100 billion, but still, dude. At the end of the day.
So you think $1 billion is the sweet spot?
I think once you reach $1 billion, you can do pretty much what anybody can. Now, if someone says, "Well, you can't, buy something for $200 billion if you only have $1 billion," we're not talking about that. What can you buy for $200 billion? When you're a billionaire, you're living equally as lavish as pretty much anyone else that has 100
What
billion.
about if you have 50 million? 50 million. Isn't that a good life?
50 million, you're doing real good. You're very comfortable.
How
but
much?
It better be 50 million invested. Because a lot of people get that backwards. They have $50 million, so they start buying the cars and the houses and the whatnots. And then the next thing you know, they don't have $50 million because they spent it on all these assets. And these assets cost money to maintain and insure and et cetera. And so next thing you know, they don't have any money, but they look like they have all this money. Take that $50 million, go invest it at 10, 15%, and live on that.
Yeah.
And now you have a great life because that's not going to run out.
When you were growing Lightspeed, your office.
How good's that cigar, by the way?
It's really good.
Cubano.
Thanks for bringing it. It's cool how we could smoke here while we do the podcast now.
It's the only reason I agreed to come.
Yeah. So when you were growing Lightspeed, and you got,
I'm still growing it.
So when you got that office,
yeah,
you were paying how much for that office just for the top floor?
Well, when I first moved in there, I think it was like $30,000.
For the whole floor?
No, I didn't have the whole floor. I moved in and had
one side, right?
3/4 of one side. And then I grew it to the whole thing.
3/4. So you had almost all of it?
No, I had 3/4 of one side.
Oh. And so then you got
almost half.
Then you got the entire space.
Yeah.
So when you got the entire space, how much was that?
About $70,000 a month.
And when you got so when you had 3/4 of one, when you had one side, did you ever think, man, I made a bad decision, or did you ever struggle a little bit?
Never.
And then when you got
I wrote a check for the office and didn't have the money in the bank.
Talk about that.
Well, I just wanted the office, and once they approved me, I'm like, shit. So I wrote them a check and said, can you hold that for 10 days? And they said, yeah, we'll be happy to. So I wrote them a check, and then I had to go sell something.
How much was the check?
$28,000.
You didn't have 28 grand? And then you sold it, and then it cleared?
And then I went out and sold some shit and got it to clear, yeah.
What did you sell?
And
just Lightspeed.
And then when that happened, you just kept selling and you kept growing?
Yeah.
And then when you got the full floor, did you ever have any doubts, or did you ever get scared? Oh shit!
No, because Lightspeed makes enough to pay its bills and then some. So.
But in the beginning, you had to sell to grow it.
Yeah, but once I grew it to a point where now I have money coming in, even if I don't sell, then you don't worry as much.
And then you went and got the bottom floor.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a few years ago, right?
I don't remember.
How much is that?
Not much. It's not the bottom floor. It's the bottom quarter. It's just my training center. But dude, I mean, like I throw an event in there and make $300,000 in one day. I think the additional rent is maybe $9,000, $9,000 more.
Do you think it's important, or do you think that means that you're a real business when you have like a huge operations and office and you have
Well, it depends
employees?
on your business, but 9 times out of 10, if you want to check and see if someone's legitimate or not, usually you just say, "Let me meet you at your office." If they don't have an office, I'd raise an eyebrow. It doesn't always mean that they're full of shit. Doesn't always mean that they're, not legit. It just, again, it's a good indication. So like real business people have offices.
Yeah. So, a few things here before we wrap up. When you told me to start an event, do you think that everybody should start an event, or just business owners? Because you're starting your own. You started your own event, right?
No.
I mean,
I've thrown them. I've done my own events, but I didn't start an event company where it was intended to be every single.
Why don't you? And just
Because
scale
again,
it.
I have a lot of businesses that take my time and attention, and an event business requires a lot of time and focus. People think you sell those tickets overnight. Well, you don't. You're selling them all.
You should just partner with Albert and be part of the Driven fam.
Well, again, this is your deal.
Yeah, but I like sharing it with my friends.
Well, I'd be happy to take some from you, but this is your deal.
But together we could probably do better than other events.
Well, then what would it be? Real driven?
That could be the next move.
Real
Real
driven.
driven.
No, I mean, one of these days I might start like doing annual events.
But instead of starting from scratch, why don't you just go with one that's been up and running for 8 years? Plus, you trust me, right?
Because again, it's yours, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, Microsoft is the biggest company in the world, and Bill Gates owns what, 1-2% of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's that got to do with it?
Because like if Driven is worth, let's just say, X amount of millions, but and I own 100%, or you own 100%, wouldn't you rather own 50% of a business that's worth 10 times more?
Versus one that I start myself that's
Yeah.
worth half?
Yeah, I mean.
Well,
you
if
get the
I
point.
started an event space, I would grow it and put all that time into my own business. Not that partnerships aren't worth it, but when people send me their gear with their logos.
You don't wear it.
No. Like I have my own logos. I have my own brands. I'm going to wear my own shit. I'm not going to wear your shit. I don't wear jerseys with men's names on it. I could be a fan of a freaking sports team and not put their jerseys on. I don't own the team.
What about Dodgers?
What about them?
You don't like the Dodgers?
I mean, I don't.
I mean, we went to the
I
Dodgers.
don't dislike them.
We went to the Dodger game. You bought me a jersey with a name on it.
Well, you're a Dodger fan, aren't you?
No.
Oh. Did I buy myself one?
I think you had a Dodger jersey.
No, pass.
That's when we took the
I don't
World
wear. I
Series
don't
back.
wear. I don't wear jerseys.
So it's bad to wear a jersey with another.
I don't think
person's
it's
name?
bad. I just don't do it. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean that I think it's bad. I think it's bad to hurt people. I think it's bad to rip people off. I think it's bad to lie, cheat, steal. I think it's bad to be a bad person. If you like jerseys, then that's cool. Some people are like enthusiastic about their teams. I wonder, like, how do people know so much about sports but they're broke? Like, I know guys that don't have any money, but they know every stat from every team. It's like they know who's injured and who's not injured and who's about to become the coach and who was just fired and why they were fired. And it's like, dude, if you put that kind of energy into building your career, you'd probably have a hell of a lot more success. But then again, who am I to judge them? If they're happy, what does it matter? Because at the end of the day, dude, it's all about trying to be happy. You know, if somebody's making $100,000 a year and they're happy as hell, like they're honestly happy, they don't want for anything, they are happy, then I would take that person's life over a billionaire's life who's miserable.
Yeah.
Because, dude, again, money's nice to have and money's important, and you're always going to hear that from me. People should focus on getting money. Money is very important, and everybody should do whatever they need to do to get some, barring giving up their happiness. Again, I would not sacrifice happiness to get more money.
So what do you think about health and cigars? Because I know you're big on health, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you said you don't have to have a six-pack or you're a loser, but you do want to be healthy. And you smoke how many of these?
As many as I can.
Like how many a day average?
2 or 3, maybe 4.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I highly recommend them. Now, as far as health goes, I don't inhale them. I hear they can give you cancer, but so can sweet and low. Okay? I hear they give you cancer, but so does everything else out there. You know? Drumsticks, the ice cream that isn't ice cream. You know, everything gives you cancer. Everything's going to... Dude, listen, enjoy life because guess what? You're going to die.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the news everybody better pay attention to. You're going to die. Okay? Now, a lot of people are like, well, boy, that's not very positive. Listen, it's a fact. We're all going to die. So between now and then, and by the way, when are you going to die?
I could die tomorrow.
When are you going to die?
When am I going to die? When I don't wake up.
When are you going to die? It's okay to not know.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Exactly. You don't fucking know. So why don't you act like that and enjoy life? And if it means puff on a fucking cigar, what if I get killed in a car crash on the way home? And I said, no, I better not have a cigar because I want to live till I'm 100. Well, dude, I could have enjoyed a cigar and then died.
Yeah.
And not only that, dude, I guarantee you nobody has ever died healthy. Like when people die, they're not dying because they're healthy. Okay?
But
nobody dies healthy, Albert.
So
there's a clip for you.
It's the same.
Nobody dies healthy. Just remember that. As you're running around worried about this and worried about that, listen, nobody dies healthy.
What about the six-pack people that take steroids?
Well, again, depends on what kind of steroids. There's a lot of people that overdid the steroids and they paid for it with their health. That's why I'm not.
Why don't you take steroids?
Well, because, dude, I don't want to be a big muscly guy.
But you don't have to use steroids for muscle. You could use steroids for like six-pack. Because it burns more. It increases your you burn more calories, burn more fat quicker.
Well, why don't you do it then?
Because everybody has their own vices. Like I'm not a big cigar smoker,
Albert
but I smoke
cuts
cigars.
his own hair because he doesn't want to get interviewed by the barber.
Yeah, I value my time.
I don't know where you go get your hair cut, but when I get my hair cut, because I don't do it myself, I go get it done. They're not sitting there asking me life advice the whole time. So wherever you're going to get your hair cut, they would constantly ask you about business. You probably should just went to a different.
Yeah, but
place.
you have to drive there, park, sit, wait, and then get on the car back, drive out.
Well, number one, they can come to you.
So when they come to you, they get there early. They want to take pictures. They want to stick
Who
around
wants
in
to
the
take
house.
pictures? Again, dude, you got the wrong barber if they want to take pictures with you. And not only that, how many pictures they want to take every time they come?
Yeah.
No. You're exagerating.
But when
nobody wants to take your fucking picture every time they come to cut your hair.
But my hair,
like, come on, dude.
But having hair like mine, you also don't waste time like combing it. Like how long do you spend combing your hair?
I don't comb it.
Or put mousse or whatever you put on it.
I get out of the shower, I blow it dry, and I throw in some
mousse,
some paste or whatever it's called, styling
paste
gel. Yeah, some sort of like
like really quick. So alcohol, I'm not a big cigar smoker, but I like to have champagne.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't drink hard liquor anymore because it's.
Have I ever said anything about that to you?
No, but I mean, what's
that's
worse?
Because that's your business. Now, again, I think you drink too much. Why? Well, because I just, from a health perspective, alcohol, for a fact, does increase the risk of cancer and all these other things. So to me,
but it's not. I'm not drinking liquor. I'm drinking wine.
Well, again, to me, it's are you happy? And if you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it, well, then frickin' do it because you're gonna die.
I could die. I could
You're
be.
gonna
I could say
die,
I'm
bro.
gonna be sober till I die, and then what if I die tomorrow?
Exactly. Then
Might as well just drink.
Then you wasted your life. You could have been a drunk your whole life.
Yeah, because you said nobody dies healthy.
Nobody dies healthy. If you're healthy, you're not dying.
Because you could die also if you take too much like steroids.
Well, that would be unhealthy.
Yeah. So, to wrap up, why do most businesses go out of business?
Lack of funding, miscalculation.
But it's like kind of like having what if your wife spends a lot of money shopping? Is it a lack of money that is that why that's a problem because there's a lack of money? Or shouldn't you make more money so your wife can spend more money or your girlfriend? Or can you fix a business by making more revenue?
Of course you can. Revenue usually fixes.
So the
most
problem
problems.
is not making enough revenue, not a lack of funding, right?
Yeah, it's a lack of money.
So lack of money is a problem.
Yeah.
And that could be fixed, right?
Yeah.
Like what would you do if right now a revenue was down for your business?
I'd be focused on revenue.
Would you go into selling again if you had to?
100%. I'd be back at the office, focused on selling, focused on training and developing people, marketing. I'd be focused. Whatever you focus on tends to, grow. So when you have a lack of funds and you need money, well, you better go focus on money.
So
and then people will tell you not to because that's not right.
Yeah.
And then everybody worries about what everybody else thinks, and they end up being screwed. Dude, there's a word that everyone should pay attention to. It's called frequency. You heard of the word frequency?
Yeah.
Like it could mean how often do you do something? What frequency are you doing something at? So that is how often. And then there's frequency like vibration. Like the frequency of a radio will determine what you're listening to. The frequency of the vibration that you have. Well, people have a vibration. We all do. Everything's vibrating in the whole entire universe. So if you realize that we're all just vibrations, the question is whose vibrations are attracting what other vibrations? Well, your vibrations will attract like vibrations. So if you're doubt, worry, fear, anxiety, you're going to attract more of it. So what you want to do is keep your vibration up here where you're abundant and happy and joyful and confident and enthusiastic. So how do you keep your vibration up here? Well, you have to block out all the negativity. You have to choose who you hang around, and you have to determine what your standards are, and then you create those standards and you maintain that frequency, and then life becomes better. And I do it using gratitude. I realize how valuable it is to be alive. And I use that gratitude to shift my perspective to where now, even if something most people would consider bad, there's always some good in it. So again, that's what you call a positive mindset. So your mindset, your skill set, and your habits are what are going to determine your life.
Yeah. How do you feel about a working wife, business wife versus a housewife?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
Well, I have a housewife.
Yeah, she's awesome too.
Yeah, so I like housewives.
What if you had a wife that is like a business wife that works in the business the whole time, and you have people at home like sitters and housekeepers that take care of the kids, and you and your wife work together, versus having the housewife? What do you think is better?
Well, again, I just said for me, a housewife is better. So
Why?
Because it's called roles and responsibilities. My role is to provide and protect. Her role is to nurture and support. So if she wasn't home nurturing and supporting, we would have to hire someone else to do that, and someone else is not going to be as good as she is.
I have nannies.
Well, they're not going to be as good as Sil. But if Sil wants to be here and that's what makes her happy, well, then she should be working. And then you should hire.
What if I just tell her to go home, be a housewife, and I'll take care of I'll replace her with somebody else?
Well, would that make her happy?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, you should ask her, not me.
But then if I do that, then I would have to cancel the nannies, because then the whole point of that is for
Why?
So
Are you limited?
So the
She
housewife.
has to be home
'Cause you-
with no help. That's her choice. I'd pick working too if I were her.
But you just said that.
Dude, being home with the kids all day is a freaking exhausting.
Yeah, but you said you said the real mom is a better nanny than the nanny.
In most cases, again, there's moms out there that aren't that great, but I believe that there's no one going to be better and more protective and nurturing and supportive over our children than my wife is. So if I have a choice of who's going to watch it and take care of the kids and the home, it's going to be my wife. Now, if my wife wanted to work and she said, no, I want to help you build an empire. I want to be out there with you. Well, then I would freaking say, cool, let's go. She doesn't have to stay home. She wants to.
Like if she would want to work for Lightspeed, it would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you need any tips on if that happens, like you could ask me.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
So Brad,
Are you good on time, Greg?
Yeah, what time is it?
2:01.
oh good, we're about to close out. So Brad, what is the next step for you in the next 5 years? Like what are you planning on? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself exiting, selling your company, retiring? Because you talked about like how you don't live forever. So right now you're still like you're at a good place. You're young, strong. 10 years from now, how does that look like? 5
Well,
years.
I will probably still be young and strong. However, in 5 years, for the next 5 years, I've put a application on my website. I'm going to start hiring people and training people to get out of the rat race. I'm going to teach them how to win through mindset, skill set, and habits. So anybody that wants to get out of the rat race and make a couple $100,000 a year, because that's the ticket out.
Yeah.
That's where you begin to start getting yourself out. They can just come work for me. I'll show them how to do it. I'll give them a job. I'll do everything. So for the next 5 years, dude, I'm just going to start helping people get out of the rat race, and I'm going to try to make, a couple thousand millionaires, and hopefully they will pay it forward as part of what I do, and I'll start a ripple effect, and we'll change, the success rate in America.
You know what I was thinking about something, but I lost my thought. But you were talking about how a man should protect and provide for wife and children.
Yep.
Right. Right now, how do you feel about the society promoting a lot of soft men and more power women? So in a way, men are becoming softer than ever, and now they're getting like their woman is like empowering them, and they're promoting that. I don't know if you know if that makes any sense, but there seems to be a lot more soft men out there that are not really providing and protecting. Like how does that make you feel?
It doesn't make me really feel any particular way.
It doesn't bother you when you see a soft
No,
man?
I mean, I mind my own business. Good for them. If they want to be soft.
How do you feel about gender roles?
What gender roles?
Gender roles, yeah. Like you said, a man must protect and provide.
Mm-hmm.
So like why has that changed now? Because like
It hasn't.
well, there's a lot of men being very, very soft. That's why.
I know, but again, that's one of those things that I don't focus on that. I'm looking for people that resonate with what I think.
You think a man should make more money than their woman?
I believe that a man should make more money, yes.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why isn't okay? Why can a woman make more money than the man?
They can. Like if my wife made more money than me, that'd be great. I'd be like cool.
But then you would
I'm
have
not
to be,
against it.
Then you would have then you would then if both of you were working, right? You're not talking about you staying at home with the kids and she works.
No, I would never stay home with the kids. That would be too exhausting for me.
Yeah.
But if my wife ended up saying she wanted to go to work and she ended up making more money than me, I would support her just as easily as being at home. To me, I think the man should make more money, and the man should be the one providing and protecting, and the woman should be at, home or with the kids or whatever. But that's just my traditional values.
Yeah.
If like I have a buddy that like Sil, I'm not like thinking, oh, Sil, you should be home, you shouldn't be working. Like, I don't think anything about it. I think, cool, Sil's a badass. Other people are badasses, and they have different wants and needs and life situations. I, on the other hand, am very happy with my wife being at home. Right now, I know that she's got the kids, she's got the house, she's got that covered. I've got the money covered. But if for some reason that had to change, it's it is what it is. There's a lot of guys out there where their wives are spending all the bills. I wouldn't want to be in that position personally.
Splitting the bills?
Paying the bills.
Oh, I thought you said wife and or
no, like there's
bills.
men out there where their wife pays the bills.
Really?
Well, sure there is. I wouldn't want to be in that position. Why? Well, because dude, that would make me feel like.
But that's not really a man, though.
Well, it's depends on what you consider a man. He's got a dick and balls, doesn't he?
Probably not.
Well, I mean, they got dick and balls. The question is it the role of a man? Well, again, in my mind, everyone's unique and everyone has their own. What makes you happy? Again, if you and Sil are happy, then I wouldn't say Sil needs to be at home. But if Sil was telling me, damn, Albert makes me go to work and I just want to be home and he doesn't want to let me be home because then I would be like, dude, you should let her be at home. If she wants to work, you should let her work. You guys should figure out what you want and then both of you work towards it. There's shit that needs to be done at home. There's shit that needs to be done at work. Usually you divide and conquer. I'll take this, you take this. Yeah. And so that's the traditional roles of male and female. But people always try to corner me into saying that, women shouldn't work. Women can work all they want. Women should be happy. Women should be protected and provided for. That's all I say. They should be protected and provided for.
Men.
By men.
Yeah.
Men's job is to provide and protect for women and children. Now, if a woman wants to work, you should let her. She should be.
What if your woman is like shopping all day and spending all the money and not working?
Well, is that bad?
What if she's spending more money than what you make?
Well, number one, you should make more money, but number two, depends on the woman, because if she's a good woman, she wouldn't do that. But if she's doing it accidentally because she has to buy groceries and she has to, live, and you're not making enough for her to do that, well, then you need to make more money.
But shouldn't your woman be able to go buy like a Birkin if she wants to?
Birkin?
Birkin, yeah.
Hell no. That's wasteful.
Why?
Why would a woman want a $50,000 purse?
Well, that wouldn't bother a billionaire, right?
Yeah, but everyone's not billionaires, Albert.
Shouldn't you want to be a billionaire?
No, if I was out busting my ass and I was only making $300,000 a year and my wife blew all my money every time I turned around and we couldn't get ahead and we couldn't go where we're trying to get.
Then would be a problem.
No, then I'd set her down and say, babe, what are you doing? Like,
what if she tells you it's your problem, you got to make more money so that I can do that?
Oh, well, then I'd say, my problem is I married you. And then I'd find one that didn't believe that.
Hey, Brad.
Because a good woman is not going to outspend your income, no matter what it is.
But a good woman would help you level up.
But a good man is going to make it to where she can go buy a Birkin.
So it all falls back to the man being a man.
Well, again, it falls back to men should go out and provide and protect. But again, I mean, there's guys out there, dude, that are making $100,000 providing for their family. They got food, they got clothes. They're working towards a bigger dream. It takes time.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that man. He's not a man because he's not making enough so she can buy a Birkin. Is he providing and protecting? Is he going out and investing in their future every day? If the answer is yes, then he's doing fine, man. It takes time sometimes.
So women should be patient too, and that the man build the empire.
Women should be supportive and nurturing.
What about submissive?
Again, you'd have to define that word submissive.
What's one two last things here? What's one tip you would give me right now, advice that you would give me based on the 10-year friendship that we have for business and for personal life?
I would have Sil go get her insurance license and start driving people to the financial services industry
With you?
like I do. Well, sure, you can do it with me. You can do it by yourself, but I told you to do it before. And if you would have all these realtors that are now freaking out, they could be driving right over and making a ton of money in the insurance space. Financial services is booming.
So we can talk about that later.
Sure, let's go. I'll get you a license tomorrow.
What about personal advice?
I would say, if I were you, to start doing other body parts in
I knew you were gonna say
in
that.
the gym.
What's wrong with the way I look?
There's nothing. But if you wanted my advice, I'd say you got the chest down. Okay, now work on the arms. Like make arm day the day that you do. Yeah, or like do some lunges or something.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked him that. All right. So you talked about real estate and mortgage for the last part here, how it's kind of fucked up right now, right? What advice would you give to realtors to close deals?
Well, again, more hands you shake, more money you make. You got to get unique. You got to get out there and work twice as hard for maybe half as much. But listen, I mean, at the end of the day, if you chose real estate and you're going to stick with it, well, then go out and be unique and hustle and, stay positive because, the trend goes up, the trend goes down. You guys had a 4 or 5 year freaking run, man. You guys were killing it for 4 or 5 years. Well, now you're going to have to work a little bit.
A lot of them had Ferraris, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, and they lost it all a while back. Do you think, because I know what you're saying, but you also got to think about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, almost 7 million homes were being sold.
Yeah.
Now it's
good
less.
time.
Now it's less than 4 million, and now rates are not 2% like they were. Now they're 7, 8%, and they got up to like almost 10%. So like it's almost.
Yeah, but
it's
look at the history, dude. The rates were way higher before. It still worked out fine, didn't it?
Yeah, but properties are super high right now. They're not affordable.
Well,
It's hard for people to qualify.
like I told a bunch of realtors when I spoke at a real estate convention, you don't have to keep selling real estate. You can quit. Like if it's all doom and gloom, quit.
But then again, there's still around 4 million homes being sold. So why can't they get those?
Well, they can, but they got to do what I said previously, which is
They need a personal
focus,
brand?
hustle, build a personal brand. More hands you shake, more money you make. Get out there,
But
be
you're-
unique, find new ways of driving business.
That's social media,
There's
right?
a lot of realtors right now that are still crushing it. They didn't let this little downswing affect them at all.
But Brad, if you are a realtor or a loan officer, and you're limited to how many people you reach face to face or phone call to phone call, it's different than when you go on social media, have a personal brand, and reach millions of people in a day.
That's right.
So why doesn't everybody do that?
Well, because again, it's too much work in their mind. They have limited scarcity-based mindset. If I told you it takes 5 years to build a personal brand, but in 5 years you'll have millions of dollars and millions of fans and millions of followers and you'll have all the money you'll ever need, everyone would do it. They just don't believe that that's the case. Same thing with my abs. I'd have abs if I thought it would make a big difference in my life. I just don't think it will.
Wes Watson says, and Andy Elliott say it will.
We're good for them.
You think they're incorrect?
No, I think that whatever makes them happy, man. Like Wes Watson's a badass. Andy's a badass. I ain't mad at them because they want abs, but at the end of the day, their abs do nothing for me.
Yeah.
So it's like I focus on myself and
Yeah.
I try to let people be and worry about me. That's a new saying right there. Just let people be and worry about me. And quite frankly, if you really want to change the world, the best place to start is change yourself.
Yeah.
If you change yourself, you'll change the world. But again, I don't focus on what Andy's doing or what Wes Watson's doing. I'm not talking shit because they have abs. I'm not hating on their abs. But at the end of the day, if someone said, do you think you have to have abs to be successful? My answer is absolutely not. No, you do not.
You think if I was fat, I would do good?
I think if you were fat and you still did everything right, you'd do fine, yeah. You don't have to be in shape. You know
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
successful people there are that are fat and overweight? Quite a few. So
It saves you a lot
it
of
shows
time.
you that it's totally possible to get financially successful even without.
Because even
having
if you're a
abs.
single dude,
But what they're talking about, dude, is when you have the abs, is you have the discipline, and when you have the discipline, you have the freaking mindset, and the mindset and the discipline,
So you're saying
required to get those abs,
Yeah.
are usually the same discipline and requirements used in success, financial success. So what they're saying is, if you can get abs and you focus on getting in shape, your mindset will change and it will transfer over to the financial part
and
of
you
it,
are proof.
which is true. Which is true.
you're proof. You're proof that you don't need abs to be disciplined.
I'm 100% proof.
Yeah. and then here to wrap up, you said that everybody should.
You want to see my abs?
You show them. you said everybody should have a podcast, or am I mistaken?
I think everyone should have a podcast.
Even a realtor that's just getting started.
Yeah, I think they should have a podcast about getting
that's-
started in real estate and helping other people that are getting started
Because
too.
then they'll reach more people, right?
Dude, it's all about sharing knowledge. If everyone just shared knowledge, the whole world would be better off.
And you have a huge podcast that you've grown from zero. Mm-hmm. It's one of the biggest podcasts out there.
Okay.
Is it going to take that long to grow it, or can people grow it faster? And if people want to be on your podcast, do you put anybody on your podcast? Well, when can I be on your podcast?
You've been on it.
Yeah, but it's been a while.
The fans have to demand it. So if you get the bomb squad to say, hey, let's get Albert back, I'll have you back every day. I'll make you my co-host.
What if somebody wants to pay to be on your podcast?
They can pay.
How much?
Well, I still have to approve them, but it's 25 G's.
25 G's? So if I give you 25 G's, I could be on your podcast?
Yeah, I'll have you on tomorrow.
All right. So, Brad, just share a story here to close out, and then tell people where to follow you. What is like a story that you haven't never talked about? Like maybe a story that nobody knows? Because I know you've been on a lot of podcasts, you spoke a lot, but what's something that people don't know about? Because last time I asked you this, I know that you had an incident, and you shared that. But is there a story that has maybe changed your life or made you better that you'd never shared before?
Nope. I've shared it all. I've shared it all, folks. And if you haven't seen it, it's probably because you don't follow me. So just go follow me. Scroll down to the very beginning and start watching all the videos. Go to my YouTube channel, watch all the videos. I pretty much said everything. I think. I mean, there's probably some stories that I haven't remembered, but nothing major.
Yeah. Well, awesome, bro. Thanks for being here. And I'll send you those 25 G's.
All right, 25 G's, you're in.
Cool.
Deal. Folks, stay driven.